Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today my guests are Oonagh and Jenny, the Marshmallowists.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast. I have to say you guys have got the best title for a job in the world.
Thanks, we made it up.
It is incredible. I'm like...
If there's not one out there.
Well, yeah, when someone says, what's the job, you're like, Marshmallowists. That's incredible. All right, we're going to kick it off with the first question. So you can go individually or you can go together.
No problem.
Can you tell me about when you've dared and won?
We were discussing this earlier.
We have had a chat.
And I started the company in 2012. So a really long time ago now. And we sell gourmet marshmallows, which wasn't a huge market to begin with.
It was no market.
There was no market. We were the first ever gourmet marshmallow producer in the UK. So we had to build that we had to build that market for ourselves, really. But every day, basically, running this company is a gamble. Like, do we spend £35,000 on packaging? Or knowing full well that if we lose a contract, we might not be able to sell it? Or do we hire another member of staff, knowing that
if we lose a contract, we might not be able to employ them?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we've been so lucky. We have been so lucky.
12 years of luck.
But and lucky, but hard work.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that it's not precarious, and it shifts and changes all the time. You know, for a while, pre-pandemic, we made the majority of our income through events,
Right.
which we lost entirely. So, I mean, anything like that currently it's a dare.
Yeah.
And contracts can just fall away.
Yeah.
You know,
Buyers could move
can move on, your relationship ends. You know, it is really precarious. And predominantly, I mean, I'd like to think we haven't really ever been the top of a trend, but trends move on.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, is that something across the board with generally like the food industry, is it can be quite volatile?
Completely.
Right.
And it's a sugar confectionery product. And Oonagh can talk to this more than me, but we use the best quality ingredients, and our flavours are raspberry and champagne, passion fruit and ginger, and we use fresh fruit purees in them. But essentially, it's a sugar confectionery product, and if people decide they don't want sugar this year,
Yeah,
then...
the wellness trend, the Helmsleys was a difficult period for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
we are not
We
blaming
love the Helmsleys. But yeah, no, sugar went to a dark place for a while.
Yeah.
We need it. No, but it's a balance thing, isn't it? This is a luxury product.
Completely.
This is a treat yourself.
And that's it, exactly. I've lost my thread on where I was saying.
Basically every day we take the gamble and go, do we dare spend the money? Do we dare take on a team member knowing it could expand the business? But yeah, so every day.
Every day's a dare.
Every day's a
Well, you're
dare.
certainly winning. Like,
And that's the thing, you know, and as you become more invested, you know, it becomes even more, because it's like, well, we've done this for so far. Like we've been sat here and done this for so long. We could hold out, and you know, now we've got 3 children between us as well, and mortgages and you know, and also the time it means that you can give to the business as well, sort of lessens, because you have all these other priorities. So the stakes get higher the longer you're invested in running your own business.
it's interesting because you think I think there'll be a lot of women out there that are kind of starting up, me especially, in the early stages of things, and you think, if I just get to this point, I won't have to worry about this, I won't have to worry about that. But you guys are really open and honest there, saying that I guess it just gets bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger worries.
The stakes are higher.
Oh no, we're like, what? Keep it small. But you are doing incredible things. I think my eyes first laid eyes on you with the Greg Wallace. Was it Greg Wallace that came to see you?
Oh, it's Hairy Bikers.
Hairy Bikers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, rest in
He
peace.
sadly passed away, yeah.
So we were so upset about that.
About that. They were so lovely.
Never have we had such amazing
Almost,
visitors, have we?
No,
to
it's
like,
incredible.
And those guys came to see you to see what you were doing in the early stages or not? I can't remember.
No, this was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
They were filming a Christmas special. Beautiful concept, actually. They travelled around Yorkshire, finding different small producers, and they'd come to the kitchens or factories or little bakeries, watch something being made, and then bring it back for their Christmas dinner that they'd cook up for their family. Because they're lovely.
Yeah.
And they came to visit us on a very Christmassy August day.
TV for you.
TV. We had to put on woolly jumpers. And they were just so heartwarmingly kind and generous with their time. They literally turned up on their bikes, which we did question beforehand if that was.
We thought, I wonder if someone else rides those bikes for them. No, they turned up on the bike.
Before any of the Castrol crew, knocked on the door, and then we're like, can we have a cup of tea?
Yeah. And they sat down, had a cup of tea, and they don't like to have a script or sort of too much information about the people that they go visit, because they want the conversation to be really open and genuine and interested. And that's how it was.
Yeah, they were really interesting, and they were really interested, and it was a fabulous, fabulous day. And there was lots of like Farsley residents who came to get their book signed, and they went out and stood and chatted to them for about an hour and a half, even though they had another filming section to do, like 2 hours away.
It's nice, isn't it, to know that those people exist?
They genuinely do. So that was and obviously the publicity from that, and that came at a reasonably difficult time for us as well. Actually, I think we'd had quite a year of slowing sales. I think it was just post-pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah. So everyone stopped buying on the internet and went back to going into restaurants.
Yeah. And the publicity that we got from that was incredible.
Yeah. I mean, what you do is amazing. How did you land on the marshmallow? Like, I guess, have I read rightly that you were a chocolatier?
I was a chocolatier. I
mean, you went from one job to, like, for me, that would be the best job in the world, but...
Well, we've circled back, don't worry. We've picked that back up again. We now do a delightful range of tea cakes. But I moved to Paris when I was 18 to train as a chocolatier pâtissier. And I just fell madly in love with fresh confectionery and using like fresh fruits and herbs and just doing things properly. And then I moved to London, and I got a little stall on Portobello Road. I was working as chocolatier for Rococo Chocolates, and I got a little stall on Portobello Road on a Saturday and started selling cakes and chocolates and marshmallows. And every week I noticed that marshmallows were selling faster than all the other things that I was trying to hawk. And they were just really popular, and I just really enjoyed the process of making them. It's quite magical. It's very Willy Wonka-esque, like the fluff, and it's quite scientific. And you were able to experiment quite a lot with the flavors as well, because it's sugar and glucose, like a sugar syrup, but 35% fruit. So
good for you.
We'll go with it.
We're not making health claims. We're just
that.
here for taste claims, but not claims.
But the fruit really comes out as you eat them. So like we did like a blueberry and gin marshmallow, and like the tang of the blueberry and then like the floral nature of the gin would come through as you're eating the marshmallow, and it's a really it's a lovely experience.
And what point, so you went from your little stall, at what point, Jenny, did you come into the business?
Well, I actually came on at the point where, so it escalated quite quickly from that point. So 6 months after Oonagh had sort of purely started selling marshmallows and was still working in her other job. And then you got the name and got the branding and sort of made things a little bit more formal in terms of becoming the Marshmallowist. Very quickly you started stocking in Harvey Nichols, the buyer from Harvey Nichols. you were in Vogue magazine. Like, it very quickly got, because you're in central London, you know, you're in Portobello Road, and it's a trend-driven product that was beautiful, and made really well, and it, you know, it got a lot of attention very quickly. So you got offered a book deal with Penguin Random House. Nice. And I came on to help you with that.
You did. You came on.
I was 6 months only.
And how many years later?
9 years ago.
Dragged into
2014.
She nailed you down.
Was it 2014? I think it's about 9 years.
Like playing this game.
No, I don't like playing with this game. It's been longer than 6 months.
Okay, right, we'll take that.
6 months plus.
Well, it must be a good working relationship. I had a business with my brother, and
we couldn't have a business with our brother.
No.
Oh, right, so there's another one. Okay. Right, okay. We'll cut that so you don't fall out with it.
He probably will listen to that.
It can be hard because two different personalities sometimes.
Always, yeah.
Right, okay. But do you think there's a nice balance? Because I think different qualities.
It works really well for us.
It really does. We, in the sense that we can have massive cat rows, like literally like screaming, like at the biggest fallouts. And 13 seconds later, everything is forgotten, and you go back to, can we talk again now? Like we never fall out for longer than half an hour.
Right.
Yes, but it becomes but we resolve it very quickly.
Yeah.
And I feel like you don't have the intimacy or the humility to do that with maybe another business partner or a friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, things would fester. You wouldn't talk. And we spend most of our social life together as well.
Which we're also very good at separating.
Yes, yeah, we are actually. But we wouldn't be able to do it unless we had that ability to just get over the issue, get over the problem. I mean, I'm sure people at work find it ridiculous how everyone else in the bakery, we can be shouting at each other.
Oh, really? Are they just like...
And then 15 minutes later, best of friends again. So I'm sure it's not the easiest working... We find it easy, but I'm sure everyone else finds it particularly tumultuous.
Quite destabilising.
Has it ever got to a point where you throw in marshmallows at each other?
No,
okay.
No,
right. Don't save the ingredients.
No.
Don't take it out of the marshmallows.
No.
So
it's a Willy Wonka setup then, where you're at in terms of this creation, the science. That's exciting.
And it's Oonagh, really. Although we tend to have quite a flat structure in the bakery in terms of like coming up with flavours and trends, and everyone who's been there and people have been there a long time working with us, and so everyone brings new ideas into the bakery when it comes to new flavours and
everyone's
new products.
Really fascinated by food. Like in our bake, 95% of the
conversation is
about
food.
Or restaurants or bars or cocktails. Like it's our one main passion for all of us. So we're all really interested in it. So it's very easy for us to be like, we saw this on
this menu or so someone cooking this or I cooked this weekend.
Yeah. So inspiration comes as a collaborative thing.
Yeah.
And then I guess you get into like the testing phase, and then you think about, do you do any like testing on rabbits? Do you test before you go big, or do you just trust instinct?
Always.
Oh, okay.
We always test. We try everything in the bakery. But equally, we sort of inherently know what will work now. Right. We have been doing it a long time, but we always test every flavour. We are very fortunate that we work with and we've been asked to work with some really incredible brands, and we've got some fantastic stockists. So any new seasonal creation that we would make for them, we would always test extensively before.
Okay.
And we have had some, particularly our fun briefs come really from the alcohol industry.
You did a little collab with Amity.
Yeah.
We made our own beer. We brewed our own s'mores beer.
Yeah.
Which is delicious. Delicious. And also such a fun process. Yeah. Because it's, I'm sure in the same way that people really enjoy coming down to the bakery for that sort of inside the factory. Yeah. But it's the same when you go there and watch how it's done. It's just fascinating.
I had Verity on last week, and she was saying that she did we were talking about trying to get women into different non-traditional roles and thinking, I was like, there's actually not a lot of women in the brewing industry.
Yeah.
And she said that they did a come and brew with us. And she was like, it was so many women turned up that had to turn people away.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, because
It's
interesting.
It's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We went for the whole day, and it was just a little bit of sitting around. But
Yeah. Tasting beer.
even better.
Yeah, exactly. You need the
We
rest.
do 4 hours of work and then you just sit down for a bit. That sounds great. It was really fascinating, and I hadn't really done it before, so learned a lot of new skills, which was nice.
But in terms of flavour creation, we worked with several whiskies. We did a collaboration with Courvoisier last summer.
Oh yeah,
For Selfridges in London.
Allure.
Which was a cocktail pairing with marshmallows and tea cakes, and the flavours for those
They were incredible.
were incredible.
It's like a flight of cocktails.
Yeah.
And each, you did a sip of a cocktail and then a bite of a marshmallow.
Stuff
And they
dreams
were
are
all
made of.
perfectly colour matched to, it's a really beautiful designer who does these really like elaborate print work in like mad colours. And all the marshmallows and tea cakes were colour matched to that, so it's really great.
Yeah, so really fun briefs. So there is a lot of experimenting that we get to do, which is fun. And that was, you couldn't do it otherwise, because essentially, and again, you talk to this because you do more of this, but otherwise it's a lot of manufacturing work, because you make the same flavors and you've got to make them, cut them, pack them, and we do everything ourselves, and it's a small team. So unless you had that real injection of creativity, it would essentially just be a manufacturing job that you're having to do every day. So we're so lucky that we do get that creative outlet.
And have you had any like big lessons since you started, like any mass disasters or like funny stories you could share?
I mean, so many.
Because I think that the great thing is, as business owners, we tend to, I was riding the high last week of getting our first sponsor for a couple of episodes of the podcast.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And then basically dip down again, because I was like, okay, now I've got to get more sponsors. And it's just like, actually, like, celebrating those small wins is so important.
Yeah.
But it is, I said to my husband, it's like, it's such a roller coaster, and I've got to learn to ride the lows better than celebrate
completely.
It's hard, isn't it?
I don't think anyone gets good at that.
Do you not?
No.
No, I think you're always allowed to go in a corner, have a little bit of a cry, and then come back out.
Yeah.
How do you get out of that? Like, how have you? Obviously, you've got each other, which I guess helps.
We do, and that does help, and it's something that we have spoken about. I think being a sole business owner or having a startup and doing it on your own.
Yeah, it's very draining because it's all on you. Like, this is the good thing about having a partner, is like you get to share all the rubbish bits when you get to share all the great bits.
Yeah.
It's very, I think it would be very isolating if it was just you by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, even just having all the glory on you, like, that's isolating.
Yeah.
So the best thing about having a Jenny is
Everyone needs a Jenny.
Everyone needs a Jenny. Is to be able to share in every single aspect of like the business in its entirety, all the good bits, all the middling bits, all the best bits, all the low bits.
And also we really know each other's strengths. So I know there's things that Oonagh just won't want to do. And in fact, I'm actually there only for those bits.
Yeah.
So Oonagh is so good at everything. Everyone's like, was she just doing in the kitchen? I'm like, no, she does everything. But I'm just there for the very specific parts where Oonagh is like, I will not go near that.
Podcast.
But she dragged you along.
You're amazing at podcasting.
Yes.
I do know podcasts. But just, the conversations that you don't want to have, the meetings that you don't want to go to, the awkward conversations with people that you just are like, Jenny can handle that.
I need a Jenny.
Yeah, basically. It's just for all the rubbish bits.
It's just for the bits that you absolutely do not
I would like to
want
point out I do all of the accounting.
You do
and
everything
the
else.
VAT.
Oh,
Just
okay.
not the boring stuff.
Right, okay.
It's just the heavy lifting.
Okay.
So I do a lot of things that you would consider quite dull.
I
Yeah,
cannot
okay.
do those. I cannot do those bits.
But yeah.
It's a perfect partnership then. I have my mother-in-law who does my accounts, and I sometimes hide in here, so she'll phone me, and if she can't get hold of me, she'll be like, turns up and goes, "We need to do," and I'm like, so it's good that you're in.
I was just looking for something under the table.
Yeah, she's going to pop up. She's like, "You've not done your end of year." I just exit. But no, she's great. And I think if you don't have someone within your business when you start out, for me, having a support system around, you know, a husband who actually doesn't want to kill me after I'm moaning after all this stuff, and he's picking up the flack with childcare. You guys are mothers. It's hard to. I think actually it's probably quite hard to have established a business then to have kids. It's quite a hard transition, isn't it? Like, how do you? I don't tend to get into this like moms in business because I don't. A lot of people focus on they're mums and they've got a business. I'm like, it can be done. Like, let's move on from that conversation. But equally, I'm totally
it can be done, and it has always been done. And it's suppose you're just learning. You're really finding your feet with it. I've been working in the business for sort of 8 or 9 years. And
6 months plus.
Oh yes. And I've had so for 7 years. So for a lot of it, I've But for you,
mine's different though. I like the business was very much my baby.
Yes, exactly.
I did all the hours. Like I worked every hour, every weekend, every late night, every event.
I don't have the same relationship with it. Oonagh is absolutely, the one that will stay up to midnight and will be there at 4 a.m.
Probably lost more sleep over business than a
100%.
child.
Especially my one. My one's great.
You're a good sleeper.
Yeah, he's a great sleeper. But no, I invested every hour. I didn't have a social life for 10 years. It was all, Oonagh's working, she can't come for dinner, like all that nonsense. Didn't go on any holidays. And it's only since having a kid, now to be fair, I did actually go back to work 2 weeks after having him, just handed him to my parents. But in January, when we had him in October, so then we had our Christmas rush. And then January, we went to a 4-day working week for the whole team.
Oh, amazing.
Not just me. I've really established a work-life balance that I did not have before. I think if I didn't have a child, I wouldn't have done that. I would have just kept on going and working and just not really having a social life and really very rarely seeing friends. He's made me really take a little step back, but not because I couldn't do it. It's just I sort of want to do it now. Yeah. I want to have a work-life balance. Yeah. And I think having a child's really helped with that, because otherwise, what else are you doing at 11 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
Just work. Yeah. Just do your VAT return.
Yeah, exactly. And you realise how much time becomes so precious.
Exactly.
Because it goes, doesn't it? And you're like, oh, hold on a minute, I was just changing a nappy and now they're going to school. And yeah, I think I can totally relate to that. Right, let's get into the marshmallows. You've brought here some marshmallows. And here's a little bit of backstory is, I actually was like, I want to get you guys on, but I don't really like marshmallows.
Wow. You decided to announce that on the podcast.
Yep. Bear with me.
Very feeling.
Bear with me. Because the story changes. It's not going to be embarrassing. I'm not going to be eating these and gagging. I had just had the box standard shitty marshmallow. I had not experienced the marshmallows. And I was sat here actually on my own, and I tasted the passion fruit and ginger, which Jenny, you said was Oonagh's favourite.
My favourite, yes.
And I had to have a little quiet sit down.
Oh,
no, this is truth. This is not just for the podcast.
So good.
I was like, I don't know what's happening in my mouth, but there's all these flavours, the texture, the consistency. So, should we open a box and you can talk me through?
Yes. Would you like to recreate that experience again?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I was going to bring like a crappy little marshmallow and burn it, but we won't do that.
No,
freedom of.
Also, we don't denigrate other marshmallows. We just know we're better.
Yes. Right. Let's get a marshmallow. We can remove headset if need. Which one? Which one should we? Yeah, let's do raspberry.
I've already had passion fruit and ginger.
Raspberry and champagne. I like.
So this is made with whole raspberries and then rosé champagne to deliver a little fruity lift.
So are these new? Are these an existing?
This-
Is there a stalwart?
It was the first,
okay, an
first
original.
ever
The
marshmallow.
OG.
Yeah.
OG. For all the young ones out there, they'll get the term.
I am going to have the crackle away from the microphone.
Oh no,
That
this is
would be
good
quite
for all
annoying,
those people
sorry.
that love those unboxing, like.
Oh yeah. So they come in little boxes of 6.
So beautiful.
And they're all partitioned separately. So it's like a little box of chocolates. This is for the listeners. Go through.
Yeah, if you're listening on audio, go and check out the YouTube video because you will see the full shebang. But yeah, a beautiful.
And then we top them with dried raspberries. Again, a bit more fruity hit.
Yeah,
There we go.
amazing. Right, and on the packaging is I love little. I'm obsessed with packaging a little bit.
We
so are
are
we.
obsessed with packaging.
And I
Funny story, actually.
Okay, go on.
Oh, go on.
She's like, can we?
Well, it is your story. Oonagh actually met her husband at a meeting about our packaging. Yeah.
So there's a
That was their
massive
meet cute.
love.
That was our meet cute. Yeah.
Right, on packaging.
Yeah.
He works for a paper company called GF Smith, and our designer said we weren't allowed to use any other paper. It's the world's
Most expensive paper. A very bougie packaging designer.
Yeah, she was very bougie. She's like, no, you couldn't possibly use anything else for your boxes. So she set us up with a meeting with one of their sales reps, and we turned up, and he was so fit.
So you were sold
Knew
instantly.
so much about
I knew
packaging.
so much about packaging.
And Rita, she married him.
I mean, I've never had a story about falling in love over packaging.
Packaging. So there, we really love packaging.
It's a whole other level to love of packaging, and it shows. I can feel. I now will know every time I pick up a box.
Yeah.
The story behind
Made
it.
with mallow love.
Made with love. Yeah. And there's I love the fancy another.
Thank you.
Ta-da.
We do come up with that all ourselves.
Yeah.
That
Jenny-
is actually
Jenny
my.
comes up with
Yeah, I
that
come
all
up with
herself.
that.
I love this. I love that. It's-
Thank
Yeah,
you.
because I think
It's-
packaging's a dying thing, isn't it? Like, as in, some people just don't, give it the credit it's due.
It's hard to have a balance between having a friendly tone with the brand
And then being too innocent.
and then being too like too cheeky or
Okay.
too friendly or too cutesy.
Right.
And that's something that we really have worked hard on over the last few years in terms of everything, like communications with our customers, but from packaging to our website is like, how do you sell a marshmallow but not make it too cute or
Yeah, I think you've hit the balance
Thank
perfectly.
you.
I mean, I'm no pro, but for me,
no,
it shouts
and I'm
luxury.
not at all at all. But that sort of. But
I'm
but
gonna say you are
and
now.
I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 months plus in.
Yeah,
You're pretty good
I would
at
hope
it.
so.
Branding.
Right, are you going to join me for one?
Of course.
Yes,
yeah.
always. Are we all going in for raspberry and champagne?
Is there another favourite on
I'll-
there?
Well,
passion
I
fruit.
love
Oh,
a
your
toasted coconut, so
Okay,
maybe
well,
we all
let's-
try a
let's-
different
Yeah,
flavour.
Yeah, let's do this. Do you want me to pass it? I really need to get a longer cable. I can just take it off. Oh, wait. But, I mean, like, the texture. Has everyone, like me, become a pro as soon as they're, like, one of your marshmallows? They're like, ooh.
Well, you can explain
why
the texture's slightly different.
Yes, so our recipe is slightly different from a normal marshmallow recipe in the sense that it doesn't use any egg white. So it's really light and really souffle-like. And that's why the fruit flavour comes through so strongly, because there's nothing really masking that other than it's just fruit and like glucose. And then they're all suitable for pescatarians as well, which is nice.
I've got to ask, is it a secret recipe?
No, we also wrote a book and gave everyone the recipe.
The recipe. Thankfully, making marshmallows is so incredibly hard
They don't want to do
that
it.
no one can be bothered. That even when people have bought the book, they
then
still
come back
and
and
buy our marshmallows.
I love that.
So thank goodness for that.
I'm going to have another bite. Hey. The champagne.
It really comes through, doesn't it?
It doesn't get lost.
Yeah,
No,
it doesn't.
doesn't
No,
get lost.
it is a good lift.
Anyone listening, if you've tried any marshmallow, forget it and try these. They truly are incredible. So good. And the box that I had before, so there was one left, and every time someone would come in, they'd be like, "What? Oh, what's that?" And I'd be like, "Oh,
Mine.
yeah." To the point where I gave Eden one now, and she was like, "I really like them," and I was like, "Okay, just one." Yeah, just one. And now
You know, we are also a 4-minute walk from
I
this
know.
studio.
I'm not sure why
you could
you.
just nip down.
there's just going to be me at the window.
Or
knock on. Have you got any
Samples?
spares?
Anything dropped on the floor? I'll take that. So chocolate is a new addition, or
4 years,
Yes.
I think.
Of
About
tea
4
cakes.
years. We were asked. We can't name them, I'm afraid. They get very angry if we name them. Okay. But
Might be off limits.
that might be
I'll
The
cut that out,
Royal
don't
Super.
worry.
the
Royal.
supermarket, who you're not allowed to say that you stock.
I think we
okay.
are
Got
allowed
it.
to say that we stock them.
Yeah.
Are we under?
You didn't name them.
No.
So
Called them a Royal Supermarket.
Yes.
yeah, so people will have to.
No. Where? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We were approached by them to create a tea cake for their shop, for their lovely deli. And we went wild with it. And we now create seasonal flavours every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
They're all hand-painted polycarbonate moulds, so they're beautifully designed.
you might just have to explain what a polycarbonate mold is to a non-chocolate speaking.
They're all made in moulds, so we hand paint the moulds with like coloured cocoa butters in different designs, and they're either an ombre or little Christmas pudding fig leaves, or
So there's art.
There's
Yeah,
art in
yeah.
them. They're all
Yeah.
really heavily designed and created. Did an eyeball, like a very hyper realistic eyeball for Halloween. But yeah, it's become our best-selling product, and they're absolutely stunning. We do, we make all the marshmallow fluffs inside, and we do caramels and jams and lemon curds and passion fruit curds, and
Loads of different
Loads of
fillings.
different
So
fillings,
they
yeah.
are, they are incredible,
They
and
are
it is our best selling product now.
oh, we have some.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we have some. We
some.
brought some.
let's have a look at these. I saw actually on social media the glaze, that like the shine. I was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, that's
Yeah.
screams
That
perfection."
takes
Lot of
a
polishing.
lot of
Does
polishing.
it? Oh,
yeah.
like literally polishing.
Literally
Yeah.
polishing molds, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hours and hours of polishing molds.
Oh, and look at that. You're pretty
And it was
great.
all worth it for that.
Packaging. Ooh, wow. We'll do this for the camera's sake. So what have we got here then?
We have our spring range. So we have an ombre salted pecan tea cake. We have a raspberry fluff with a raspberry jam tea cake. We have a hazelnut, was like hazelnut fluff with toasted caramelized hazelnuts running through it, then a hazelnut cream, then a whole roasted hazelnut inside.
Which one should I
Inspired
try?
by my sister's favourite of all the chocolate bars.
Like very low end taste in chocolate.
She basically just comes in and asks us if we can make a Twix into a Twix.
Have you heard of something called a bueno? Bueno.
But it is absolutely incredible. We took Bueno and raised to the bar.
Well, I have.
It's actually won a Great Taste Award,
actually
that
won a Great Taste
cheesecake.
Award, yeah.
That's so it's
Right.
yeah, it's
Which one-
actually
which
that
one's that?
good. The hazelnut.
Hazelnut one.
This one.
Which-
Right, okay. So a little claim to fame. I grew up in the Midlands. Quite a few family members work for Cadbury's.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
My mum, she claims.
Yes.
How true is it?
Came up with.
No, yeah.
All
I
right.
wish. Close to, though, she's claiming on the back end. So she used to work for the head of development way back. And she claims to have held the secret recipe and have put it in the vault that exists. Whether that's true, I don't know.
Let her have that
Yes.
story.
I'll let her have it.
Yes.
I'll let her
What a
have it.
story.
I'll let her have it.
And let her, keep that.
And then one of the Cadbury sisters, who I think is no longer with us. She lived not far from us, and it was Cadbury's was such a amazing brand for what they did in the Midlands and everything they created. But for me, it was my first love of chocolate. I have to say, I've fallen a little bit out of love with it since, and I've kind of switched a little bit to Tony's. But
I think a lot of people have made that switch.
yeah, I mean, it's because massive brands take on. And actually, I was going to ask you, is everything's done in-house with you guys?
Yes.
You are the life and soul of this company. Has there ever been a point where someone's come and said, why don't you mass produce these elsewhere?
Yes.
Quite a few times.
Regularly.
Okay. And you
It's
have,
regularly.
and you stuck to your guns because it's
Why
not
on
mass
earth are
produced.
you making them in such an expensive way?
Oh, you know there are machines that do this job.
do this for you. You're packing them yourself.
Yeah, no, people can't quite grasp
No.
how we run our company sometimes.
But it's the love, right?
Yes.
You couldn't just sit in an office and have this produced somewhere
No.
else.
You actually can't, though.
Oh, okay.
Like, you can't get that produced.
Right.
elsewhere. That no one else makes these.
Right.
Like, I don't think any
Let
other.
me try this.
For some reason, no other company in the UK seems to make these.
What, these two? Why are you throwing down? It's
It's because it's very labour intensive.
yeah, it's really labour
Don't
intensive.
make them, guys.
Don't leave it to the pros.
Just don't.
I know.
And why Yorkshire? Why did you come from London to Yorkshire?
We're from Yorkshire.
Yeah, we're from
Oh.
Leeds. Yeah.
These
Did you
girls.
not get?
Not
No,
Leeds.
I'm terrible with accents.
Okay,
fine.
fine. Yeah.
Where's the Irish connection, or is it just?
Our parents are both Irish. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god.
And we were both in London. So I only moved up 2 years ago back from London, and you moved back up. I don't. Why are we playing this game? Sometime before me, you moved back up when we needed to scale the business.
The
Really,
company wouldn't have survived if it was London.
Right.
no.
Just the
'Cause
rents are
obviously-
exorbitant. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
And in
You're
terms
just gonna
of
have to keep talking. Because I've got to go.
no, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry. That's
and
never an issue.
Rents were really, really expensive, and I was able to move back up. I lived with my parents for a while, again, which was able to fund the company because no rent. And I was able to rent a bakery out of hours. So they worked through the night, I worked through the day, which was very handy.
interesting.
Yeah.
And then sort of as we grew, sort of then took on our own bakery unit, and then a slightly bigger bakery unit, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's sort of grown organically over the past 12 years. But in the first couple of years, it was very much hand to mouth. 'Cause it takes a lot of money to make yourself like financially stable.
Yeah.
Really. Like to be able to buy the ingredients, market, buy the packaging, everything is expensive. So
I think that's the thing. It's such an investment that, and I mean, I know people talk about how much money you need just to keep a business stable, but certainly on the run up to Christmas, when our outgoings are so huge, in the hope that, yes, we will make money at Christmas. But again, that is always a risk.
And fresh ingredients. You guys are not putting in stuff that sits on the shelf.
No, it's not. No.
So-
So exactly. And it's the same with any restaurants or cafes, you all have to make. So we're not unique in that, but yeah, it is the food industry and the fresh food industry in particular. It's extremely difficult. And also our costs have gone up considerably in the last, 4 to 5 years.
yeah.
Because particularly with chocolate, and then we have the raspberry gate.
The raspberry gate, where every raspberry crop in the whole of Eastern Europe failed.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, raspberries went through, like the price of raspberries went through the roof. And we could not sell our best-selling product, which is raspberry and champagne marshmallows. It was ridiculous. It was like it went from costing us £12 a kilo for raspberries to like £56. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And you can't obviously then put your own prices up to reflect that. You just have to absorb all the costs. So
Profit
again,
margins
you know,
get
where
hit,
does
yeah.
that all come from?
Yeah.
Well, listen, you guys have done an incredible job. It's an amazing product.
Thank you.
There's
Thank
no
you.
more else to say. Like, don't buy a marshmallow anywhere else.
Thanks. That
Thanks.
would that would
Really
help.
help.
That's
Yeah.
how, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's so who where? Oh, there was a little hazelnut in there that just. How am I going to hide these from people that come in? I'm just like, no. So yeah, how can we help you guys in terms of where people can find a marshmallow? Online?
We are online. We have a fabulous website, themarshmallowist.com. We're also in Farsley.
Yeah. Do you let people rock up?
We do a click and collect service, yes.
Okay.
Although we are still not. We always find it a bit of a surprise when people turn up. Just because it's a work in progress. We do tell people where we are and do let people click and collect. But because we're just always in the middle of our
You're busy,
production
yeah.
and we've got hairnets on and chefs, we're always a bit startled when someone comes to the door. We really
get better at
We need to get better at that.
No, I think that adds to the.
Oh, hello.
The authenticity of it.
Yeah.
I was just making your marshmallows.
Yeah, fresh off
Exactly
the.
what I was doing.
As long as we're not mid-argument of like not talking to each other.
That's all contained.
So website and
we
then
are stocked in Harvey Nichols as well. Royal Supermarket.
The Royal Supermarket.
yeah, the royal, the one that makes you feel better when you're inside it. I know that's really
Wow.
controversial, isn't
Is
it?
that what the tagline is?
I
feel like they might need to revise
They
that.
might need someone to work on that copy.
That's
Jenny,
my-
do you want to get into it?
yeah. I just feel better when I go in there. I don't know why. Like, yeah, it's. Yeah, my husband's like, no, we're going to another brand, which is on the other end of the spectrum, which is perfectly fine. We won't get into supermarket wars.
No.
So there we've had it, and I love the fact that you do like Halloween and seasonal stuff. So
Yeah.
constantly check the website is what I'm saying. Please continue doing what you're doing, which I know you will because you're killing it. Thank you so much for being amazing guests. Incredible story.
you for having us.
and
Thank you so much for
I'm honoured
having
to
us.
share your story.